Good morning. Good morning. How are you on this fine Wednesday morning? Sometimes I wish I had a Southern drawl. I do not, nor do I give it justice, so I won't try again, but just for a split second every once in a while. Here's a weird confession for you on a Wednesday morning while I wait for you to join. Quirks. Them's the quirks over here. Uh, as you join our WTF Wednesday edition of Virtual Coffee Club, please say hello in the comments, or you can just type a swear word if you want. That's the kind of day that today is. You are more than welcome to. It's our healthy expression of emotions today. So have at her. Good morning, Trellis. Happy WTF Wednesday to you also. We're going to give people another minute, and then we'll hang out for a bit, have a coffee. Today, I want to say it's a cocktail. I really do. I feel that today, but it's actually vitamins. But I disguised it like it's a cocktail, so it feels like we're just throwing fucks to the wind and we are just hanging out. We don't have a care in the world, and we'll have a cocktail. But really, it's a drink full of vitamins and shit like that. It's my fizz, which I adore. Fucking hello. Do I wish I was free today? I don't know what free means, but maybe you'll have to come on the show next week. Happy Wednesday, Kathy. All right. If you're joining us for a coffee this morning or a glass of vitamins, because you know you're old when you got to start drinking your vitamins because there's so many you need to take. That's what this looks like. That's part of WTF. Welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. For those of you who are new or scrolled by and saw us for the first time, or maybe you were invited by a friend, it is WTF Wednesday, which stands for What the Fuck Wednesday. So on this day of the week, the coffee club gets a little more colorful in the language. We express things, we get things off our chest. It might seem like you've stumbled upon a bunch of crazy complainers. That is not the case. We are healthily expressing our emotions with each other on the things that are just driving us crazy. And so, as always, I like to open the floor to you of what has been WTFing you this week. What has been bugging you? What's been on your nerves? What are you sick and tired of? What does that look like for you? Please know anything you share in the comments. We are in a safe space here in Virtual Coffee Club, so express yourself as needed. Get fired up. It's the day. What's on my list of things? I feel like I've got lots. And I feel like, though, I've been expressing them almost in like talking about what should I talk about on Wednesday with friends. And then by the time Wednesday rolls around, I'm maybe not as fired up as I was, say, yesterday. However, I think some conversational things that maybe will stir some for you. Maybe there's something that you are feeling that about. A couple of people have approached me in the last little bit saying they're sick and tired of being yelled at by other people. So I think people's frustrations with COVID has really led them to a really frustrating place. Like Mike shares right now, open shit up because this is ridiculous. So I know that there's a group of people that get fired up and their what the fuck is, why aren't people following the rules? And then we've got a group of people that are what the fucking, why aren't these people on the other side realizing that nothing on this other side is proven? Okay. So I get where we get a bit of tension between these two different groups. And then there's a bunch of us that kind of sit in the middle and wonder why everybody's getting so fucking crazy and uptight about it. Am I right? Do you feel like I've described our group of people in this world? And I think that it's coming down to, you can want whichever piece, you can follow whichever piece, you can believe in whichever piece, but you don't have to be assholes to the other side. I mean, why are people yelling at people in the grocery store? Why are people yelling at people on the street? Why? Why are you exerting your energy in this way when there's no reason to do so? Okay, if somebody's not following the piece that you don't like, stay the fuck away from them. But you don't have to yell at them. That's crazy. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, sweet Kenna. So that's that. That's that. Now, I alluded to a little bit yesterday that I think there's some we're in an interesting spot when it comes between citizen and government. And I think that there's always a citizen versus government mentality in the world. But I saw a really interesting, I don't know if it's called a meme or a picture or whatever the fuck you want to call it yesterday, that said, they are not our leaders. They are public servants. Do you agree with that statement? Post it in the comments. And to a degree, I do, because we elect officials to come into office, whatever level of government, to represent us as a group of collective citizens, to be our voice and to help make governing law and decisions and run our communities, our provinces, our countries, states, whatever. Okay. At the end of the day, those people are elected by the people for the people. A friendly reminder to anybody who works for a municipality or a government office or whatever positions that called, you are also a public servant. Your wage is paid by the taxpayers of that community. You work for that organization, but ultimately your job at the end of the day is for the people. I think that there are a large number, and not all of them, because I won't broad stroke everybody, but there is a large number of people in those positions who have forgotten who they work for. And that's where a huge communication breakdown happens, and people start not talking to each other, not communicating properly, and the transparency gets very, very muddy, and the trust factor is broken. And then that's where things get really fucking frustrating, because you feel like you are not heard. You feel like you don't know what's going on, and you feel like you're being lied to all the time. Are you or aren't you really isn't the debate. It's how we feel about it. Would you agree with that? Good morning, Cam. And I that's the part where it gets really frustrating, I think, also. And in a particular case this week, and again, I don't want to railroad people and I don't want to throw people under the bus, but I like to hold people accountable to the promises they make to their citizens and their community. Good morning, Nadine. And when a response to something is, well, that happens on the weekend, and that is reserved for my family, makes me feel a little bit crazy. Because yes, I agree in boundaries. And I agree that if you are in a position where you have become in a leadership role, not our leader, a leadership role in our community, there are times when things are going to happen outside of your Monday to Friday and your 9 to 5. That's just fucking reality. And if you want to use that as an excuse not to show up for something for your community, I'm not going to buy it. That gives me a what the fuck. Again, create your boundaries, stick to your boundaries. I get it. But sometimes you got to step up for your community too, especially when you're somebody who's really checked out of that position for the last length of time. and it's obvious. If one of your leadership role people tells you that they like the mask wearing policy because they can go to the grocery store, nobody knows who they are, and they don't have to talk to anybody, I think that's a pretty good sign that that person is done in their position. Thank you. It's an election year. What else is on your mind? What's bugging you? What's on your mind? What's making you feel crazy this week? What's something that's pissing you off? I need to hear from you because I could ramble about said topic maybe more than I should. And you know, I really respect people who step into government roles. I really do, because that is not an easy job. For some people, they make it really easy because they mail it in their whole time. But for some people, it's a really tough job where they're reading and researching and talking to citizens and making that effort. And it's a big gig and they take it seriously. And some people don't. And that's hard because then it comes into the same way we're feeling really torn in the world between the people who want to follow this set of rules and the people who don't want to follow this set of rules. The same thing happens. So I think this is the same kind of feeling that we get when there's people in government who are working really hard for who they work for, and there's people who are just being dill holes. And that's what it comes down to. And then that's where I want you, wherever you are, whatever it comes to, and I know each province, each area, each thing has different times where they have elections. But if you are in a place like Alberta where you have a municipal election this year, or if you are a Canadian and there's the chance an election is going to be called, I ask you to start asking questions, to start finding out who people are. And when the candidates are announced, I want you to get to know them. And yes, people can be one way at the beginning of a term and burn out and be another way at the end. They are also humans at the end of the day. Do not ever think for 1 minute that we are electing magical superheroes that are going to come into government and make everything perfect. That's fucking crazy. But we can ask people to stay accountable to what they promised and not tell me that they don't want to talk to me when they're out in public anymore. That makes me fucking crazy. Kelly agrees. Kelly agrees. Mike, let's hear more. Hey, bitches. Good morning, Corey. So what's on your mind today? I know there's quite a few of you here hanging out. It's What the Fuck Wednesday. I want to hear the things that are making you feel crazy today. If they're along the lines of something I have talked about, let me know your 2 cents on that. If you're in disagreement with what I'm saying, please feel like it is a safe place for you to give your side of that also, because I can actively listen even if I disagree. And I can take into account those things, and I would never hold that against you. But what do you think? What's on your minds? What's making you crazy? I think there's an interesting debate. I don't know if anybody wants to, if that's felt like it's been your what the fuck sort of moment, but there's been a lot more cases popping up in schools. And when I say cases, I say this COVID thing that we're still fucking dealing with that's making us crazy. There's a lot of cases coming up in schools. Teachers are not on the list to receive the shot anytime soon. Does that make you think, what the fuck? Or not? It was an interesting debate I was watching on Twitter last night about that. What do you think? What else is kind of making you crazy? I feel for our virtual coffee clubbers in British Columbia. They had dining revoked yesterday and a couple of other different things in restriction. I don't totally understand how dining on a patio versus dining inside the restaurant really differ. I don't know how all of a sudden the air that is outside but still around you is 100% different than the air that is inside that is around you if you're properly spaced and all that shit. I don't know how that makes a difference. But again, I am not an expert, but this is a place where we can say, well, that's fucking weird. What? Why that? So what else? What else feels fucking weird to you? Put it in the comments. Don't make me ramble the whole time by myself. There's got to be something that you feel is making you feel wild today. Liz, yeah, it is nasty. And I'm not saying it's not real. It is just weird. Thank you, Russ. It's just fucking weird. It is. I don't get that piece at all. Trella said it's likely because of spring break and they don't want more people. That's true. But I mean, we've allowed people to go skiing or go snowshoeing or do all of those things all of winter. And I get that when there's a large chunk of time, but I think they actually have a different week off than we do. So that's always kind of interesting. I don't know. I get the crowd control, but at the same time, if we're allowed to be outside in groups of 10, I don't know. Cheryl, good morning. She said, I finally made it to one of these. Welcome to What the Fuck Wednesday, Cheryl. Kelly shares, what the fuck, when we are allowed to be free, to walk free, will we all be as sick as we'll have no immune system? And that's an interesting piece of this puzzle now, isn't it? Now, isn't it? And it's just, there's so much going on around us and other things that are happening that it's hard to stay focused on what are the pieces that matter. What else is happening that we're not seeing or paying attention to or realizing or whatever. I just don't get it. It makes me shake my head and say, what the fuck? Tara, better late than never always. Some people will catch us later and not live at all and still feel free to post in the comments. So we, of course, are what the fucking today. For those of you who have just jumped in, if you want to share something in the comments, this is your free space to share something in the comments about the things that are making us go. I feel like that's the action for the words, what the fuck Wednesday, is just shake and what? So what are those things for you? What are those things for you? Good morning, Kathy. I've been waiting for you to join us on the What the Fuck Wednesday because you've always got something really good to share about. So I'm looking for your comments today. We've got a couple more minutes left in our coffee chat. So please feel free to post something in the comments that makes you feel absolutely nuts and you need to get it off your chest. Would be great. One of the things that I thought that made me feel a little crazy this week, and I've been investigating. See, that's the thing about if there's something that bugs you, you got to look into it. So I was bothered also this past week, and I shared it publicly, that there's a group called Foothills Tourism in my area that created a video about visiting the communities around. Now, it was a well-done video. It wasn't particularly exciting, and it wasn't really thrilling, and it didn't make me feel excited to go visit, but they did showcase a lot of the communities in the foothills. They had the mayors from the towns say something. They had a few business people, a few farmers and ranchers, and they were creating this video that I can only imagine how much it cost, that was showcasing communities in our area. However, there was zero, and I mean zero, mention of the community that I live in. Every single one around us was mentioned except the community of High River. So when I posed the question online, where the fuck is High River in this? I was told that they approached the mayor. There was a really tight turnaround window for the shooting of this video, and they had a lot of restrictions with COVID and blah, 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 blah. And so he was not able to make that video. Okay. Why was no one else from the entire town asked to be a part of that? And again, I appreciate that there's a tight window in production, but really, you're going to do a tourism video and talk about every town except one? So I'm curious if it's because the municipality didn't invest into the tourism group, and therefore are they punishing the community? Is there a political piece at play here? Are they just not connected, this group, into that town? So I have reached out to say, hey, if you want to meet some more people who are really passionate about the community of High River, I will help you connect to them. We've got a really incredible brand new Chamber of Commerce that is coming in to rebuild lost relationships over the years. And they are a team of passionate business owners who care about their community. I would have loved to have seen them in there. So I will dig and I will help. And I hope that it makes it better. But like, come on. Come on. I was wondering if this one would come up. What the fuck is with the new curriculum for K-6 students in Alberta? There has been some interesting conversation, and I would love to hear about. I don't know if we have teachers. I mean, it's hard because we're right during school time. But if you know a teacher or somebody who could speak to this, I would be really curious, because I don't understand as much because I'm not a teacher, but some of the pieces that I've seen look pretty fucking weird and pretty kind of scary. So that's another thing, friends. Start investigating. If you've got kids in K1 to 6, or you plan on having them there one day, look into this curriculum because it's kind of fucked up. They better open up for the Kinetz Ladies Night Out or we'll be so sad. Oh my gosh, yes. It's my favorite night. Kathy, I'm sorry there are too many what the fucks, but don't worry, I'm having them. But Kathy, I love it when you express them. It makes me happy. Okay, Russ says, here goes. Half maskers. Like, what the fuck? Either put them on or take them off. Covering your chin isn't going to do shit, people. Yes. Or I don't understand that either, especially after a year, and especially everywhere you go, there's a photo that shows you how to do it. Russ, I'm feeling you on that one. Tara says, I'm just so fucking frustrated at the moment. I see no end to this coming. Meanwhile, businesses are going bankrupt. People are in the worst mental health state ever. Yet here we're told to just keep waiting. Yeah. And it's hard, right? Because we also aren't experts in the pieces. So our uncertainty in stepping up to that is kind of crazy. Thanks, Jenny. I do care, and I do care a lot, and maybe too much sometimes is maybe some of it is just too much caring. Amanda's what the fuck moment is I was posting videos for a new bar session and I erased one. What the fuck? I hate it when you have technological glitches. That sucks. Brian shares, since I'm an ex-felon, I'm 20 years in prison and it doesn't seem fair. I could imagine that, friend. I could imagine that. I have no idea the details or what that must be like for you, but I can imagine. Or how about, okay, one last thing. I know we're going over time here, but something else you want to look into that I looked at yesterday is the whole mountains over mines debate that is happening in Alberta with the 1976 coal policy. Again, something else that sounds kind of wild, but worth investigating if you are somebody who enjoys the mountains, the environment, and the health and wellness of our province. The government of Alberta put out a survey. That is their first attempt at any sort of community engagement in regards to this situation. I looked at that survey yesterday and could not believe the fucking gaslighting attempt that is happening in this survey. You are made to feel when you open this survey that if you don't know what the different types of coal are, or you don't know exactly how coal works, or you don't know the exact readings of how the 1976 coal policy is in, that you don't deserve to do that survey. Why are you asking me questions about if I can identify different types of coal or not in a survey where I want to express to you as my public servant that the environment is more important to me, that you need to find a different way or a different alternative, or we need to go back to the table to talk about solutions to making this work? I believe fossil fuels are important. I believe the environment is important. I believe there's experts in this world who can figure that the fuck out, but don't put out a survey to pretend that you're asking for my input and you're quizzing me about what I know about fucking coal. Like, obviously, if I was a coal expert, I would probably already be working in this with you. What? You know what I mean? Yeah, Dylan, attempt. And I hate that. Nicole shares, my what the fuck is paying for 3 business license under 365 days. That's a chunk of coin. That's a chunk of coin. I get it. Okay, friends, we've gone over our time limit. But I could probably go on and on. But if any of those things make you crazy too, just know you're not alone. Please know that when you ask questions, when you wonder something, when you want to know more, that's a good thing. It doesn't make you a denier. It doesn't make you anti anything. It makes you want to equip yourself with knowledge so you can make educated decisions and equip yourself with more knowledge. Okay, that is a good thing in this world. That doesn't make you an anti or a denier or a whatever, or someone who is trying to fucking kill people in the world or whatever people are saying these days. That is not true. That is a fucking lie. Equip yourself with that knowledge. Ask those questions. And you can do all of this without being an asshole. We're swearing and we're yelling right now and we're getting fired up because we need to express that. But when you want to go start digging and finding out information, you don't have to be an asshole about it either. You can ask genuine questions. And that's why we were equipped with brains, my friends. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your What the Fuck Wednesday. Something else make you crazy? Feel free to post it in the comments. We will maybe have another guest next Wednesday. Sometimes it's nice to have someone to get fired up, co-fired up with. I don't know. It's interesting to say the least. But let's figure it out. Let's have some fun. But I'm curious about things. And that's not a bad thing. Friends, thank you for another incredible coffee chat today. Thank you for being the kindness revolution, amazing souls in this world that you are. I appreciate you so very much. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another virtual coffee club. Have a great day, my loves, and we'll see you tomorrow.